Okay, so I decided to come back with another video because I just saw Open Forum, finding the truth about gang stalking. I was watching her videos, and when I watch her videos, I tend to be inspired to kind of express what was going through my mind when she was talking about certain things. There's so many different things that, go through my mind. But first of all, I wanted to say that I don't want people to think that I have a holier than thou attitude or that I'm so much better than everyone else, because I too have made mistakes in the past, and I'm very grateful that I didn't have the social influence that many people do have to create the sort of behavior that other people tend to exhibit, so instinctively. Because, when I was younger, I did what I consider to be foolish things, which most people do because they're in a learning process. They don't really have the kind of guidance, so they, do things because they are trying to find out what they want. Sometimes it was impulsive behavior, sometimes it was whatever. So I've done things that were wrong. Of course I have. Everyone has. When in GS, it's like they want to find things about you so they could use it against you. So when people are victims of gang stalking, oftentimes they want to bring up things that happened years ago because they're grasping for straws. They so desperately want to find some sort of thing so they can hold against you. Okay, that's another form of envy and jealousy, manipulativeness, because you can see that they're not taking in consideration as to who you are now. Okay, so they can't find anything that they really want to hurt you with, so they'll bring up something that you did 20 something years ago, which reminds me of the lie that I told my ex-husband. Now, when I think about the situation as to the kind of background they come from, and I think about the little lie that I told my husband many years ago, I'm sorry, but I really don't think that they compare. They don't compare, okay? Considering the fact that he was married to his mom and all this other stuff. But somehow or another, because the jealousy demon gets inside people, all fingers are pointed at me. No one will ever point a finger where it really belongs, okay? But anyway, back to me with holier than thou. I am not holier than thou, okay? When I get overly angry about these people, I'm like any other human being. I wish that I could tear these people apart. I wish I could do this sort of thing, right? But obviously I have a lot of self-control, okay? But I believe that through my trial and error of growing up, experiencing certain things, doing certain things, has made me a better person, okay? Not better than everyone else, but it has made me a better person from who I used to be, I was a very confused person. There were certain guidelines that my parents would talk about, or ideals or standards that they would talk about, but they never really paved the way to allow you to be on that path. They just expected you to know how to do certain things, but never showed you. I'm not blaming them. People do the best that they can under the circumstances, even though I will say that my family has been abusive to me, okay? But in order to really raise a kid, okay, you can't expect them to, for example, when I was younger, I didn't have any responsibilities, okay? I really didn't. I didn't have any major responsibilities. I worked for myself, basically. If I wanted some new clothes or new albums or whatever, that's pretty much what I was working for, okay? So, looking back now, I kept thinking, man, it would have been really great if I'd saved all that money, just put it away and stuff. I mean, how much money I'd have, and there were some kids who were trained to do that. But my family never laid that foundation for me. You know what I mean? They never showed me, this, and this. There was no reason to be that way, okay? So I had learning processes, okay? When I was younger, I did all kinds of crazy stuff that I would not think about doing now, because I'm the kind of person, because I don't have the social influence, okay, I can self-correct in a way that other people struggle with because they are influenced by other people, okay? By the way, I can't be influenced by other people. I can't, all right? Unless, of course, they have a good argument, they can base it on solid facts, and then I will weigh it up. Okay, but I don't believe in being influenced by other people. It is always going to lead you down the wrong path. Okay, I go by my inner knowing and what I judge to be right and wrong. So other people really, they don't do anything for me. They just don't. Okay, because I don't value their opinion, especially when their opinion is based on impulse, or rumors or something. I don't care what other people think or do or whatever. You do what you want to do with your life, right? But I'm not somebody who thinks they're better than other people. But when it comes to moral standards, do I think that I'm better than other people? I think that I have a better way of living as far as judging from what is right and wrong. I know the difference between right and wrong. Okay, so I wouldn't want to allow myself to drag down to behave like this kind of trash that I see that's so prevalent in society. I would never want to do that. Because believe me, the road that was mapped out for me growing up, there was a very good chance that I was going to fall into that. As a lot of people who are in my situation, they become all kinds of horrible things. But I think I've done pretty good for myself. My family, they thought, well, I had a kid out of wedlock. So therefore that means that I'm somebody who's just boy crazy. I was a young girl with low self-esteem. I wanted to be normal. You know what I mean? I wanted to be normal. So then you get a boyfriend, right? And you think that they're going to be able to treat you well and all this other stuff. You think you're somebody who's worthy of being cared for, right? But you get taken advantage of like every other woman, who existed, right? They use you, basically. And I'm not the only person who got conned into that. I just ended up with a child, which I felt as though I took the necessary steps to take responsibility for. Okay? And I honestly think that he was a blessing to me. He was a blessing to me because he helped me focus and understand this is not, you want something better. And I wanted to give my son a good life. Okay? But these people can't forgive you. So they want to come in and ruin your life. Okay? So and really that hurt my child because they would come in and never gave me any regard for me being able to take care of my kid. They wanted to create all kinds of drama in my workplace and everything else. So when I think about the kind of pain that these people have caused me, why would I want them in my life? Why the hell would I want them in my life? I don't want them in my life. You expect people to grow and blossom into certain things, but you don't give them any sort of guidance. And just because somebody yells at you, and tells you you need to do this, this, and this, well then should lay out the proper foundation in order to do that. Is what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of TIs. I was kind of referencing her video. There was a lot of TIs that talk about gang stalking and them being victims of gang stalking, but I'm not really sure if a lot of the people who claim to be targeted individuals are. Now, there's a lot of targeted individuals, okay? But there's some people who want to perp certain social media sites, intermingle with real TIs because these particular perps are trying to get information about other specific targeted individuals, So one way you can tell if a person's a targeted individual. They're basically living in isolation. Okay, they're working jobs that are below their skill level, okay, or they're on some sort of assistance, because somebody has manipulated and arranged their life to be that way, all right? So you're basically being a victim of human trafficking is basically what you are. All the components to being a victim of human trafficking you are experiencing. So if you see these TIs, these so-called TIs, talking about their brand new car, they just moved to a beautiful place, blah, 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 all these sort of things, there's no way in hell these people can be TIs. And of course there's TIs that people get into this program for all kinds of reasons. Some are whistleblowers. I didn't blow any whistles, okay? When I left my employer, I followed the contract. I just wanted to get on with my life. But these people continue to follow me from job to job to job to job. And this is a very common thing. And so they want to basically, all the harassment were created from these people. Okay? They're always created from them, not you. Okay? Because I followed my exit letter from the farmer's place to the T. Okay? I didn't even have to think about it. I just didn't want to think about it. I wanted to move on. Okay? And then only until like 2015 when I realized these people are destroying my life, Then I said, you know what? My silence on this issue has allowed these people to continue to abuse me. So I'm going to speak out. And in the beginning, when I started speaking out, the targeting actually intensified because they want you to shut up. They don't want you to know what's going on, right? But that didn't stop me. You know, I believe in exposing it. Now, am I trying to retaliate? No, I want my story told. I don't want to sit here and suffer garbage because of something I didn't do, or because my sister is envious of me and she's competitive, or whatever. I don't want to do anything like that. I just want to get on with my life, and rightfully so. And I certainly don't want to be expected to live up to anybody's standards of living other than my own. I didn't sign on for that. I never wanted to. You know, my family is extremely manipulative. Okay, and I'm not sure, you know, I know people probably think that they're good people. They're not, in my opinion. They've abused me for many years, you know, and so I don't want to be associated with them. And as an adult, I have every right to disassociate from these people. You know, what they thought of me in the past, well, that's too bad. You know, I can sit there and talk about things about my brother, you know, and I could sit there and hold that against him forever. You know, as a matter of fact, I will now. I mean, to me, he's just dead. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. But still, you know, I could sit here and bring up things that other people have done in the past. But that's pointless. You know what I mean? What's important in life is what you're doing now. Do you learn from your mistakes? And I do believe that I've learned from my mistakes. And sometimes they're not even necessarily mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes can become blessings in disguise. You know, it could be things that have actually benefited you because you made those mistakes. You know, I don't think I hurt anybody in the process. You know, maybe they felt as though our reputation was tarnished because you had a kid out of wedlock. All right, maybe. You know, but when you have a kid that you've never laid any proper foundation for, other than beating a kid or, you know, yelling at a kid because they did something wrong. That's not discipline. Discipline is setting out the proper foundation. They didn't know how to set up the proper foundation. You know, they always criticized, belittled, you know, threatened, whatever. That's not guidance. You know, that's not to say I'm not taking responsibility for my life. I have taken responsibility for my life. I have done the best I could based on my situation. Okay, so whatever you do is never good enough for these people. Okay, I don't care about my family. I don't. You know, and some people might think that's a terrible thing to say, but you have to get to a certain point in your life where you look at everything that's happened and you have to wash your hands of it. Blood relations do not mean shit to me. They just don't. You know, it would be nice if I did have a good, warm family. Like when I was younger, I used to look at certain family shows and think, man, why isn't my family like that? Nobody's family's like that. But there's some are just worse than others. You know what I mean? And in this situation, I think they are worse than others. I know my family tends to think if you did something in the past, then you deserve to suffer for all eternity. I remember having a conversation with my brother, my ex-brother. I think it was 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. I was living with my ex-husband at the time. And he was basically in a roundabout way saying that, you know, because I was young, when I was younger, you know, I would look kind of funny, you know. And so, you know, he probably thinks, well, because she did this at 16, this is how she deserves to be treated. See, my mother's the same way. This is how they think in their mind. Like, my mother would say, I know you. You don't know me, bitch. You don't know anything about me. Which is why you do the shit that you do. Okay? Get a life, please. Of course, it's a little too old for her to get a life. You know what I mean? So, I'm not the kind of person who wants to be rebellious or you know, break against my family because I want to be disrespectful. It's just certainly I'm an adult and I have the right to live my life as I choose. And my family had my mother basically set the standard. You know, like I said, when you're 18 years old, you can go out and live your life however you want, and that's what I'm doing. You know, so it's a double standard. I remember a few years ago, I said, Mom, I need to lose a few pounds. Yeah, you could lose about 20 pounds. Next thing you know, I got my weird sister telling me, oh, well, she can't be like that because blah, 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 blah. Exactly. My sister has an agenda. Okay? Jealousy. That's why she got the gastric bypass surgery, and that's why she did whatever. Okay? And you know what? I was not jealous when my sister was like that. I was happy for her. Because I felt like, all the years people would talk about her behind her back to me, and I was always defending her. So stupid. Like, don't talk about my sister that way. I love my sister, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, okay? My sister was more than happy to run my ass into the ground, So I don't give a fuck about her. Or my other sister, Tanya. Tanya's a religious freak, or acts like she's a religious freak. Probably never cracks the Bible open ever. You know what I mean? But she sure loves those Christian networks, boy, because they do a lot for her. It's always about gimme, 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 gimme with her. She doesn't have a sense of spirituality in her, not in a bone in her body. Okay? I'm more than sick of my family. Okay? I live my life according to my standards. No one else's. I don't want to be a part of their weird, sick bullshit. I personally think they probably were in cahoots with my ex-husband's family. Okay? And why would they want me to stay in a relationship that is incestuous? Because they're probably incestuous themselves. Think about that. Well, I'm not going for that. Now, I know incest is something that people look upon as normal now. By the way, the word child molester really doesn't have any meaning anymore. Most people walking around nowadays probably think that shit's normal. And it's funny because it's like, a long time ago, people would wear this mask. Well, they still do it now. They'll act like, oh, that's terrible. Or they have in their mind, well, that some people think they're having love relationships with children. Age ain't nothing but a number type thing, whatever. But according to the law, that's still child molesting. It doesn't matter if you are, raping a child or you think that you're making love to a child. Okay? It's all illegal. It's all child molestation, no matter how angle or how you try to convince yourself. They'll make, I remember this particular person was talking about this character on Family Guy, I think it was. I guess this guy who had popsicles down in the basement or some weird shit like that. And they're laughing at it, thinking, oh, that's creepy, whatever. But they themselves are that way. It's like they don't see themselves because they don't understand the definition of stuff. Just like the same person who didn't understand the definition of human trafficking, so she can just sit there and dig up her ass all day. People don't understand certain definitions. I'm living in a stupid world. Okay? And it's quite scary. Now, that sounds holier than thou, but I know the difference between right and wrong. So what happens to people who understand the difference between right and wrong? They're constantly having to protect themselves because they don't want to be entangled with bizarre stuff. And I have the right to say I don't want to be entangled in it. I don't want to be entangled with the Gordon clan, my old family. I don't want to be entangled to the Graham clan. Definitely. Those two. And as far as the Lyles are concerned, that's just shit coming out of nowhere. But I don't want to be a part of that either. And it's very sad because, I've always thought very highly of this particular person from high school. And once I understand what all this stuff is, it's like, wow. It's like looking at things with a different set of eyes. Pair of eyes, actually. I don't have four, but it's like looking at things with a different set of pair of eyes. Because, when I was younger, I was so shy and insecure and thinking that I wasn't, like, even worthy of looking him in the eye. And now I'm, like, looking at this, now I'm like, fuck, man. These people aren't what I thought they were. You start seeing things differently. Like, I can't even believe I was so stupid, to even think that. And now I'm like, I'm not impressed with people. And it's sad because those memories of how things used to be, oftentimes, kind of are an element in the back of your mind. Whether you're not really, I didn't really think about Stephen Lyles all those years, but still, it's like it's something that you feel as though it was a positive thing. Now you just like, oh God, there is nothing from my past that I shall hold on to. I don't think any of it is good, except for the times that I spent on my own. Certain little childhood friends or playmates that I enjoyed spending time with when I was a kid, I look back in fond memories of. But for the most part, These people, to me, it's cosmic flush time, you know? That includes my mother. That's too bad that my mother, you know, allowed her children to be bullies. That she encouraged it, whether she believes it or not. You know? She encouraged these people to become what they become. You know? Their eating habits, the way that they think, the bullying, all comes from that. I remember getting spanked from my mom for no reason. You know, just because I was looking inside of the china cabinet one time when I was eating a lollipop. I was too close to the china cabinet, so that was a reason to hit me. That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is. It's like, because really in their minds, they wish that you weren't even there in the first place. You know? So anyway, I'm tired of wishy-washy people. I'm not holier than thou. I just want to live a life that is right for me. I'm not trying to judge other people, but when they do things, take action to try to harm me, then I think I'm right to judge them. Okay? I deem them as evil, and I want to back the fuck away from them, which is just completely understandable. So anyway, yeah, I'm making videos like she was saying in her video about, you know, it helps to talk about things that are going through your mind. I don't have someone that I could call over here and, you know, have a cup of tea, which I'm drinking tea right now. I don't have someone to, you know, discuss these things with, and I probably never will. You know, I might meet a decent person, but I will never actually go into this discussion of gang stalking with them. You know, I would choose to start afresh. I'd like to leave this shit behind and never talk about it again. And I don't want to either. But I just want to move on from my life. And I don't want to live my life any other way. I don't want to get married. I don't want to deal with any of that crap. I don't want to deal with, you know, going to a phony church. I don't want to sit here and like change my hair because white people don't understand it. You know, my sister thinks that I'm doing it to be flirtatious. No, I'm not doing it to be flirtatious. If I was doing it to be flirtatious, I would throw on a high mini skirt, some heels that I could barely walk in, and I would be strutting my stuff across town on my time off, okay? Luring men in here, you know, just be like an open door, a revolving door, okay? I'm not like that, you know? I wanted to live a righteous life. I really did. I wanted to live a righteous life. Even when I was a kid, even though I made mistakes, I wanted to live a righteous life. I always did. You know, I got taken off my path, you know, but I wanted to live a righteous life. I wanted to live kind of like the Brady Bunch, you know, or the Cosby family. I wanted those things too. You know, but then you look out in society and it's like, this is garbage. You know, that stuff doesn't exist. These things are put on TV because they're ideals. That's what people want in our heart. They want a good, warm family, all that stuff, okay? But it's very difficult to have. And now that I'm older, fuck it, I don't want that shit. I don't want to sit here and have to cater to a guy or, you know, have to deal with dogs playing poker posters or any of that bullshit. I don't want that. You know, I'm happy with my life, the way that it is, you know, and I conduct myself in a professional manner, you know. So I get tired of the nitpicking. I get tired of people invading my space. I get tired of people coming in my workplace and causing their drama, and because they're feeling sad about themselves, they want to sit there and put shit on me. That's not my problem. It's not my problem, you know. I don't want to be a Gordon. Okay, I'm keeping the last name in honor of my father. Okay, I did respect him. Okay, now he probably was very burdened about having to raise a bunch of kids. I mean, it gets to be a burden. I mean, that's realistic, you know. But I think he did the best he possibly could, and I cherish him very much. All right, but this is my last name, and I will die with this last name proudly. I'm proud to be a Gordon. Even when I was married, I wanted to be a Gordon. Not just because my ex-husband didn't want to legally adopt my kid. That was the main reason, really. But also because I'm Gordon Strong. You know, I like being a Gordon. I was talking to this lady, and she was talking, not a Gordon like with my Gordons, those other weird Gordons, those siblings of mine, fuck them. But I like being who I am, okay? And this is the name I was born with, and this is the name I'm going to die with, okay? But I was talking to this lady, she was like, well, I want to get married, you know? And she goes, I can't imagine having the same last name for my entire life. Some people are like that, you know? But I'm okay with it. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to have my name still the same as it was 30 something years ago when people knew who I was, or they know who I am now. I don't care. In fact, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Wrapping up this video, have a wonderful day. Take care.